In today's video, we find out what happens when the brand new Stormtroopers added in meet the boss Herald this season. It's going to be super awesome. Can the Stormtroopers save us from the chrome? We'll find out in today's video. In the past, we did Foundation versus the Stormtroopers, and he did a pretty good job. It was an equal fight. But how will the Herald deal with all this? If you guys are new around here, roughly 98% of you guys watching this video right now aren't subscribed. And I can see that you aren't subscribed, so tap that subscribe button. It'd be absolutely amazing if we could get to 500,000, so tap it. Last video, we did a name this skin challenge, and you guys got it right. It was Rex Jones. But can you name this skin on screen right now? It's quite a challenge, so comment it down below and I'll be hearting loads if you guys can name it correctly. So the plan for today's video was to take 4 of the Stormtroopers over to Boss Herald. We had 2 spawned by Grim Gables and 2 spawned by Tilted. They were the 2 we would take on the path to the location of Herald, and we're gonna have to find out what happens. Let's jump in. So the plan was to dive into the location of the Stormtroopers, locate the Stormtroopers, and then take the Stormtroopers over to the location of the Herald as quickly as we could before the storm closed in using cars. Not too difficult to do if we get it right. I think with the right timing, we can get it pretty much set. And obviously, the Stormtroopers aren't too difficult to move. So here are the Stormtroopers. We've landed in and we're visiting them. This one here says Rebels blast them, which is clearly me, but they don't want to blast me, which is kind of neat. And the other one over here on this side is ready to go as well. And he's just saying the same thing as well. So that was pretty much set. After a little bit of time, we drove over to Tilted Towers, and over here, we had the car set. We already took the other 2, and I just thought we'd show the Tilted ones, because, you know, Tilted looks a little bit nicer. So we're heading in, we got the location of Tilted, and obviously these 2 Stormtroopers are over here. So we're gonna get these on the car nice and easily, get them on, and they're on the car. Pretty easy, just get them on, and we're set to go. Now the Stormtroopers are on the car, all we've got to do is drive them over to the location of Herald's POI, and they should be set to go up and get set for the fight. We already had 2 over there already, so we were pretty much set to get all of the Stormtroopers in position. And with all the Stormtroopers there and ready to go, that means that it's time for the battle to begin. And with the battle ready to begin, the war was ready to start, and the battle between the Herald and the Stormtroopers could be pretty crazy. Now, taking the Stormtroopers directly up the ramp was a little bit of a challenge because, you know, keeping these geezers on the car and going up a ramp is difficult, but luckily enough, I think we did a pretty good job, and they went up quite nicely, and we just had them in position ready to drop in. Now, don't forget, we released 50-50-0 build last video for you guys, and not many people were playing it, but thank you everyone that has been playing it, because we now have a bunch of players actively playing 50-50-0 build, so you guys can pop in. It's pretty hectic and pretty fun. You can see there's a lot of players fighting down the middle, and there's lots of side routes and secret spots you can get to snipe people, get eliminations, and you can get a bunch of XP. You get a lot of XP for headshots and eliminations, playtime, and your 11 sniper challenge, which is currently active in here. So there's lots of snipers. So if you're a sniper fan, then maybe this is the map for you. But maybe if you want to go close combat, you also can do that. You can switch between shotguns, ARs, and almost every weapon in here. You can find it also in Discover at the moment in trending combat, but it may get taken out of there, so I don't know how long it'll be in there. So head into 50-50-0 build with the code on screen. I'll see you guys in there. So we had all the Stormtroopers in position, and just before we started the fight, we made sure the arena around the Herald was pretty much set. This was quite easy to do because the Herald didn't aggro on us, because we just simply boxed them up, and we just simply built a giant arena around here, which would just clear the path, allow for some nice replay shots and not have any loot or any weird kind of items in here. So just clearing it, basically making it so the Stormtroopers can't escape as well, and we were set. So here's a little overview of that. So finally, we've switched over to the replay of the arena we constructed to bring all the Stormtroopers in and keep them inside of the arena while the fight does take place. You see we've got 4 Stormtroopers on the top over here. They're going to be ready to drop down into the arena here. Then we're going to drop these straight in onto the boss Herald, where we've constructed a nice 2 wall around the outside of the arena. You can see that here. This is to stop them from escaping, the Stormtroopers, or at least try and stop them from escaping, because they will try and walk back to their POI. That's just what NPCs do. And also inside of here, we've got boss Herald ready to go. She's in there with these smaller minor walls as well to try and hinder the Stormtroopers and escape. Otherwise, they'll just run straight to the end and escape. The arena's a little bit of a weird shape. The Herald's sanctum isn't nice to play in because of the stairs. It doesn't make easy boss fights, but here we go. Jumping straight in. The Stormtroopers drop straight in onto the boss Herald's ball. They aggro straight onto Herald, and you see 3 of them here, stood here, waiting for Herald to move out of the way. Herald does move a little bit, then 3 go for Herald, get a bunch of damage on Herald. They are beaming Herald, and Herald switches into her ball. The wolves are in action now. The wolves go hunting for the Stormtroopers. You can see we've got a few wolves targeting these Stormtroopers over here. 2 of the wolves here hitting the actual metal structures. These Stormtroopers approaching up the stairs, trying to make a little escape there in the corner, but that's okay. One of our Stormtroopers is still in the arena, decided to pickaxe this wolf. I'm not too sure why, but they do. You see they're beaming. The wolf does get a little 30 damage on. The NPC's trying his best. The Stormtrooper's trying his best to escape here, getting a little bit more damage on the wolf. The wolf gets another 2 hit there, takes down that wolf, takes down that other wolf, and then here the Herald came out of her ball, and you can see she's now lasering on this Stormtrooper and goes straight back into her ball very quickly after coming out of it. So it didn't take long to go back into the ball situation. We've now got 2 more wolves. We've got a few stormtroopers trying to escape, and just skipping ahead a little bit while we reinforce this. You see the Herald eventually comes out of the ball. She teleports to this back section over here and starts beaming the stormtroopers, which we managed to fish him right back into the arena. A few of the stormtroopers are desperate to escape, but some of them are still in the action. You see Herald's now getting a few extra shots on the stormtroopers as they are trying to escape the arena, giving them a little bit of an advantage here, obviously for the Herald, because that's getting her some free shots because the stormtroopers aren't firing back due to their escape mechanics. But you can see we are trying our best to keep them in the action. Their stormtroopers are now targeting on Herald summoned wolves. They're trying their best. 2 stormtroopers here just completely doing nothing, just stood still entirely. On the right side, this one decides to actually laser in on the wolves. Now both of them decide to laser in, 3 of them on the wolves. We've got 3 stormtroopers now aiming in on the wolves from Herald. One of the wolves goes down. We've got 3 of the stormtroopers over on his backside. One of them tries and breaks out. Another one tries and breaks out. They're all trying to break out while the wolf actually makes a runner to this far side over here. After a bit of time, we will be able to get these back into the arena. So very quickly, we managed to get all of these back into the arena as Herald does become out of her ball. You can see we've got 3 stormtroopers backed against this wall, 1 on this right side. Herald does leave her ball. We managed to get them all in quite nicely, and she teleports straight behind them, destroying the structures, then damaging the stormtroopers as much as she could. Because the stormtroopers are getting a lot of hits on the Herald here, doing a bunch of damage. Then she summons wolves again. This is the only downside to the Herald. It's constant summon, constant not, constant summon. There's a little replay bug where she goes invisible as well, making it quite hard to film. You can see obviously we've got 3 stormtroopers backed against that wall. We've got 2 wolves approaching the stormtroopers on the right side. These wolves actually get taken down quite easily by the storms. Then Herald decides to teleport to the back of the arena, giving her a long range advantage against the stormtroopers, taking down 1 stormtrooper there from range. She aims in on the other 2 stormtroopers, trying her best to get as much range damage as possible onto these storms, get a little bit and takes down another one. So we've just seen 2 stormtroopers go down fairly quickly there, which leaves only 2 stormtroopers remaining in the arena on this side over here. You've got 1 over here who are trying to get back in the arena, and another one on this side, which we're trying our best for Herald to target, and the wolves do get summoned again. After a little bit of time, we get the stormtroopers back into the arena, and they do fight these 2 wolves over here. Together, they team up and do a bunch of damage to the wolves, and manage to take down this 1 wolf over here on this side, which is really nicely, and the other wolf does go down as well from these 2. So these 2 have done pretty good against the wolves. They've standed their ground, but they are 2 stormtroopers down now, and only 2 of them remain, which is pretty impressive because they don't really have the best aim in the movies, but in Fortnite, they seem to be doing a pretty good job, even though they do like to run away a lot, which isn't really typical too much for a stormtrooper. I thought it was quite funny to see. Now Herald decides to teleport over to this right section over here. You can see she's invisible. Let's just fix that quickly. There we are. Herald spawns in. She now lasers that right one and takes down the right stormtrooper. There's only 1 stormtrooper remaining. Will Herald be able to take down this last stormtrooper, or will it get the victory? You see Herald has no longer got any shield, and the stormtrooper unfortunately gets taken out. Now funnily enough, we also tried this with 6 stormtroopers, and this ended pretty crazily. Check this out. 6 stormtroopers drop straight in, and boom, Herald just goes down like that. She cannot take out 6, but she can take out 4. Don't forget, if you haven't already, try out 5050 Zero build with the code on screen, or click on another video on screen to enjoy some crazy other boss fights. I think you guys will love the 5050 because it really invites a lot of unique fights and just some crazy combat with so many people down one battlefield. It's crazy, it's super fun. I really enjoyed making it. I'll definitely be making more versions of this with vehicles and other items very soon.